Hello, I'm Kurt Lidke, Executive Director of Klamath Film, and you just watched a crazy fluorescent homage to a bygone era with the music video for Strut 1980s by Pennan Brae. With us is the film's director and the musician behind the song, Tim Cash and Pennan Brae. Thank you both for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for
Thank
having us.
you.
So, Pennan, writer, actor, musician, when you came up with this song, did you know immediately that you wanted to make a music video for it?
I did, yeah. I really liked the mix that Kirk Kelsey created, the music producer, and having grown up in the '80s, and this song, the music kind of reflects that. I just had some type of pink flamingo type of image um, that would correspond to some type of music video, and and then Tim and I hashed it out from there.
So you two have collaborated often. How did you meet Tim, and how did you start working on projects together?
Well, I first went to Oregon. I Probably over 20 years ago, and I just fell in love with the state. And I always wanted to film there. Um, I was only familiar with the I-5 and Highway 101. I was only familiar with the coast. I was oblivious to the rest of the state. And so I would do Google searches for like film director and music video director, but I always got like Portland results, and it just wasn't clicking. And I literally searched on Google for 6 or 8 months. Once every 2 or 3 weeks, late at night, like I would type it in, and for whatever reason, like the search return just, I think, one day I saw Tim's page, and I was like, man, I haven't seen this filmmaker's page before. What? And I clicked on the first music video that he did, and then I knew, I was like, oh, okay, this is the guy I want to go to. This is who I want to work with. So yeah, I reached out to Tim from there, and I think we got together the first time. I think it was 2012, Tim. I think when we first worked together, about then, 2011, 2012, and we did 4 music videos in one shot, like in one sort of get together over a period of 4 or 5 days, and and then we just kept going from there.
I think it was 2010.
2010, eh?
I think it was 2010, yeah.
Okay.
Because I still had an office in town. That's the only way I could. Yeah. And this all just seemed like a commercial for an SEO company. You couldn't find me for 7 months.
Right. Well, I was wondering about that. I was like, this has been hard to find, but yeah, it was. I'm glad I didn't settle on some of the the easier or the bigger companies or whatever ones that came up on the first page. Anyways,
Right.
that was back then.
One thing I love about Pennan Brae is right from the beginning when I met him, obviously he's this kind-hearted, amazing musician that's super friendly and nice and very complimentary. But what he's amazing at, one of the things he's amazing at, is art direction. So he usually comes with these like visual concepts for music videos and film. And for me, as a filmmaker, it was like, ooh, cool. And so when you find somebody that kind of gets creating a period piece, or for instance, when he just mentioned the flamingos, it's like, oh, I've got these flamingos and let's work a story around this visual. And so we've been doing that, like I said, for the last 10 years. So we've collaborated on, gosh, at least 10, 15 music videos together at this point, and then 2 features and several lyric videos. Actually, during the pandemic, we've been working together on a ton of these lyric videos for his songs. And he's actually been going on these websites where you can find old footage from 100 years ago, 50 years ago, and then find all this common stuff that we're able to use, and then like put his lyrics over the top. So it's been a really nice collaboration over the last year and a half too.
So the great thing about music videos from a filmmaking perspective is that they can be abstract. You don't have to follow a linear story arc. You don't have to tell a straight story. And in a lot of ways, you can do more creative, off the wall things in a music video than you can in even a feature length film, even though it may only be 3 or 4 minutes, because you have that freedom to kind of do it whatever you want. It doesn't have to be a cohesive story. So, Tim, what was the concept behind the music video?
Well, first off, I'll say, like you just said, I feel like that allows you to experiment, and so you're going to make a lot more mistakes. You're going to have a lot more footage that doesn't end up in the video. Whereas when you're making a feature, you're sort of just like, the box is like this. But when you're making a music video, it can be avant-garde, or it can be like a little bit out there. So, say you screwed this part up, you're like, oh, I can just mishmash some effects and some colors, and all of a sudden it's like, it still works. Unless you're doing a storyline style of music video. You're specifically talking, though, the question was about the Strut.
Yeah. For Strut itself, is there a cohesive story there, or is it just kind of one big conglomerate of here's, Yeah, I mean, Pennan mentioned flamingos, and certainly that first thing that comes to mind for that is Miami Vice, and that's such an iconic look and style that screams 1980s. Those fluorescent, vibrant, over-the-top pinks and blues that were so prevalent in the 1980s, and now are basically gone. And this video just attacks your eyes with colors.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And the gated reverb on the drums takes you back to NXS and those like 80s bands that were the beginning of electronic music and stuff. And so, like, as soon as I heard the song, I was like, oh wow, this just took me back 35 years. But as far as the story goes with that one, at the time, before the pandemic, my kids and I had been studying wushu under a Chinese master that moved to Bend a couple years ago. And so we'd been working on, like, how can we choreograph some fight scenes and bring some like real kung fu into the film? And so as we started working on the script and storyboarding it, that kind of came, and it was like, here's a good chance to like create some action and a little bit of adventure in the piece. And it really pushed it along. And it was one of those ones, like I said, we've done several videos together. Some have been visual, some have been story, and some have been a little bit of both. And I would say that this one is definitely like a nice mix of visual and storyline. Yeah.
You've mentioned how the song is a throwback to 1980s, but it doesn't necessarily sound dated in the 80s. Like you can usually tell a song is from the 80s immediately if there's cheap Casio and highly compressed drums on the track. It's like, okay, this has to be from like 1985 because there's no other era that sounded like this. But the song itself is more of a kind of modern spin on the 1980s style. It doesn't necessarily, it has the 1980s like music elements, but it doesn't sound like it's from that era, if you get what I'm saying. So was the intent to do like a modern take on an 80s video, or like a tripped out tribute to the 80s, or what were you feeling vibe wise to kind of match the song?
I'll let you go.
I think we were just going for our own thing, just creating something ours and original, and musically it's got the influences of the 80s, but the production value of modern day. Same obviously with the filmmaking. So it just turned out how it turned out.
So where did you film this, and what was that film shoot like?
Well, we shot it in Milliken, which is about, it's 30, 45 minutes east of Bend. So you get up over a pass and you come down and you end up in a big sagebrush flat. So it's got and one of the great things I love about shooting in Milliken, I've shot there a bunch, is no one really bothers you. So you can kind of go out there and be in the middle of nowhere, and no one's going to really give you shit for shooting. Which is like, as a gonzo filmmaker, you're always trying to find these epic locations and kind of like, get away with it a little bit.
Right.
So I feel that's part of the reason for going out there. And it's, like I said, it's way out there. And then, it's just a matter of like putting all of our props in order and finding the perfect spot, and then like making sure where we're at is going to match with the light for that day. And I think we actually shot it for 2 days, if I remember correctly, because I do think that we
No,
left all the props.
one.
What's that?
We got it all done in one. We had planned for 2, but
I think that we like left all the props sitting out in the sand, and then like came back the next day, and it was all just flamingos.
That was because I'm embarrassed to say that I misplaced my car keys, and we went back out and looking for them. Bad memories.
Well, as long as we're talking about props, I feel like I'm somewhat obligated to ask on behalf of any ladies that may be watching this for where exactly they can get some lollipop socks.
Well, eBay has everything you can find, and one thing I feel bad about doing these music videos is I sort of inundate Tim's mailbox in his place with props coming in and things. Because it's like it's free shipping often in the States, but to bring it up here, there's a whole bunch of extra charges. So you name it, eBay has it.
So you know that a film shoot's coming up, Tim, when you check the mail and you're like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? Why am I getting this in the mail?
I feel like props have showed up for videos that we never even made.
This is true. A lot has gone on to resale on Craigslist.
So ultimately, what do you two hope that people get out of watching Strut?
Entertained for 7 or 8 minutes, I guess, is the main thing. I mean, my dream as a filmmaker has always been to just move people through film. So whether it's makes you feel sick or laugh or makes you think about an issue, it really doesn't matter. Just as long as people watch it after 7 minutes, just it's not there anymore. Like you hope that they take it with them. So
one thing with this video that we tried to kind of make it a descendant, so to speak, or some type of connection as an 80s music video is, we started off with the video with about 90 seconds worth of just the character in the story. There's no music yet, and you can harken back to some of those music videos, which are quite interesting in the 80s. They didn't happen often, but they happened, sporadically throughout the decade, where you'd have an introduction, before the song and the quote unquote music, the meat of the matter, the music video starts. So, maybe there might be a little bit of a trip down memory lane, for people who grew up with those music videos and then, kind of saw this non-musical introduction to the piece.
Fantastic.
I'm constantly pulling themes from old videos into new music videos, or ones that inspired me from way back when, from the Aha video to the ones that just like are still in our brains from growing up watching MTV when there was actual music on it.
When MTV stood for music television. Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you, Pennan, and thank you, Tim, for being a part of the Klamath Independent Film Festival this year. Strut 1980s will screen on Friday, September 17th at 5 p.m. in our Southern Shorts category and available on demand all week. Thank you, Pennan. Thank you, Tim, for the time.
Well, thanks for letting us be a part of it.